money, if you're going to take taxes from people in the state of California, if you're going to take government money from, people who don't want to hear this liberal nonsense, right? Then you're going to have to allow free speech and start catering and start hiring 50%. You're going to have 50% liberal socialist wackos, then 50% Christian conservatives. How about, let's get into some of those evangelicals teaching at UCLA, right? Wouldn't that be more fun? You're going to have an anthropology class and teach the universe that's been around for millions of years, right? Then you should have like some Christian come up and say that it's only around for 5,000. I think it's only fair. This is a public college. What? I don't understand it. How people allow this to continue. All right, I've said my rant.
I think Alexandra Wallace sounds like a lot of fun, and I've seen some pictures which indicate she's a lot of fun. And the learned thinker Chaim Amalek, my Rebbe in New York, says there are other currents running beneath this rant, namely the war between the white bimbo and the yellow woman for the affections and wealth of the white man.
I think that's a stretch.
Okay, so this week's parasha?
Did I lose everybody with that rant? How many people are left in the chair?
No, they're all there. This week's Torah portion
let me take some water. I gotta have some water.
Which is Leviticus chapter 6 to the end of chapter 8. It's the second Torah portion in the book of Leviticus. So what is the book of Leviticus, Vayikra, all about? It's about getting close to God. Korban, the Hebrew word for sacrifices or offerings, means to grow close. It's not easy to get close to God. Hence, Leviticus is not an easy book. Now, any offering can be disqualified as pigul if the person performing the blood service had improper thoughts. Oi, how many mitzvahs I would not get credit for if this edict were generally, was general across all mitzvahs, but it is not. It's not true, for instance, for mitzvahs between man and man. See, if I pay my taxes honestly and if I'm honest in business, even if I have bad thoughts, then that mitzvah I still get credit for. But when it comes to mitzvahs between man and God, that's when what's in your heart is vitally important.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so according to you, if you put on tefillin, you put on tefillin every day?
Yes.
If you're not thinking about God when you put on tefillin, do you get credit for putting on tefillin?
Yes.
But you just
I didn't say that all mitzvahs between man and God are invalidated if your heart's not in it, but I'm saying that it's important your heart should be in it.
It's important that your heart should be in it, but it doesn't take away from the mitzvah.
Yeah.
Okay, because you asked the question, how many of my mitzvahs wouldn't count?
Yeah.
And the answer is 0.
Yeah.
Because hamaisa hua ikar.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know what that means? Like, the action is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you put in a mezuzah on your door, do you have mezuzah on your doors?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Put a mezuzah on your door, and you're thinking about that blonde bimbo. What's her name?
Yeah.
Right?
Alexander.
And I say she's a bimbo not because she's blonde.
Mm-hmm.
And not because of her video, it's because she does modeling.
Bikini modeling.
And that's why. She's a poli-sci.
She wears a push-up bra.
She's poli-sci at a very difficult university to get into, right?
Yeah.
Right? And she may end up being, a formidable person in politics one day, And this video will help her. I don't know. But
I'd vote for her.
I'd vote for her for president right now. I'm sure she can't. She wouldn't do a worse a job than the guy we have right now.
Exactly.
Okay. And plus, you don't have to worry about people coming in to do their laundry on our.
Yeah. She wouldn't put out with any funny business.
Right, and don't be on the phone going like ding dong ding dong ding dong.
Yeah, and I think she'd really cut down on illegal immigration.
Right. Okay, so what am I saying here?
Yeah, you said it well.
Okay, so when you put in the mezuzah, if you're thinking about some blonde chick, right?
Mm-hmm. You still get credit.
You still get credit for pounding the mezuzah.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. Keep going.
So Leviticus chapter 7 verse 20, it talks about kares or karet.
Chorus.
His soul will be cut off. I'll scroll. The Ramban, that's Nachmanides, stresses that the very mention of karet in the Torah demonstrates that there is eternal reward for the soul. But there's no mention of 72 virgins. Is there anything in Jewish texts promising eternal sensual rewards for the righteous?
Sensual?
Yeah, sexual.
Sensual? I think I heard sensual.
I said sensual, but I meant sexual.
Well, I'm not going to say that there's not, because it says that when you're... We don't have bodies in the world to come. In this side.
Mm-hmm.
When we go to heaven, there's no bodies, right? You don't take your body with you. So I'm going to say no. But you do take, your wife with you, and you sit around and you eat at a table up there, right?
Yeah.
But it's a spiritual food. You're going to be eating on Torah all the time. It's all spiritual. It's a hard question to answer, but it's not like, 72 virgins and you're going to get, it's not like going to like Vegas for the weekend, you know what I mean?
Okay.
No.
So if there were not such an unimaginable degree of spiritual bliss awaiting the righteous soul after it leaves the body, there could be no such thing as charis after death.
I don't know what that means.
You do it. Really don't know?
You don't know what that means, and you just said it? I don't understand it.
It's from the Oscroll.
I don't even understand what that means.
It says that this is another argument for the eternality of the soul.
Why?
If you say that the soul will be cut off, that means that if the soul isn't cut off, that it will have spiritual bliss in the hereafter once it leaves the body. The righteous soul, once it leaves the body, will have spiritual bliss.
Well,
according to the Ramban.
Okay.
We really don't know what it means when the Torah says his soul shall be cut off from his people.
Yes, we do.
The Torah speak for very bad.
Yes, we do.
It's weird, but that it does not say God will cut his soul off. Instead, the person cuts himself off from his people by his transgressions. So this whole concept sure beats an inquisition.
Okay, can I just correct you on that?
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely do know what it is.
Well, there are lots of different opinions.
No, not really. There's three things that chorus is. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Rashi explains on Masechtas Shabbos 25a that it means that a person will die childless and before their time. They're going to die at a young age and without kids. Those are two of the three. The Ramban lists the third. What's the third? That you have no place in the world to come. You lose your share of the world to come.
Right.
So you have three things and there's nobody that says a fourth. Those are the three things. Early death, no kids, no place in the world to come. That's chorus. We lost our audience.
Well, the Garden Fund made a great point about 72 virgins for all time is a disturbing thought to me, says D. Medic. And Garden Fund says, does that mean that they are continually replaced or just horrible sex over and over again where you have to do all the work?
That sounds like hell.
Because I actually, once I was with a virgin, like I was dreaming about this woman for like 6 years. I was like, oh, this woman's so hot. She was like, totally inspired me for like 6 years. Like, oh, if I could only get with this woman, I'd be so happy.
Right.
So I came back to Los Angeles and I had a friend's apartment to myself. And like I called her up, said, you want to come over?
Right.
So she came over and we're sitting like in the sun on the porch. And I started talking about sex, and she just like leans over and kisses me. So I kiss her back, and then we walk into the bedroom, and I take off all her clothes, and just like
my nephew's gonna love this because it's his thing is that you can't go 10 minutes without talking about your sex life.
And I'm kissing her all over, and it's like, wow, I've been dreaming about certain parts of her for 6 years, and like this is so awesome to have her in my hands. And okay, she's not as hot as she was 6 years ago, but she's still pretty good. And, here she is, and she's mine, and this is her first time. And, like, this is so exciting. It was horrible. The sex was horrible. And, like, again and again I tried, and it was just horrible. And so I ended up telling her, it'll get better, with other lovers. And it was just horrible, horrible, horrible. And then, like, one morning, she says to me, like, what are we? And I said, well, we're daytime friends and nighttime lovers. And she says, well, have there been other lovers? And I said, yes. And that was the end of that. So let that be a lesson to you. Like,
what's the lesson?
Being with a virgin, even if you've been fantasizing about her for 6 years, it's not always as hot as it sounds.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Ay, painful, painful memories. So I still like Google her and like try to get back in touch.
You stalk her is what you are because you're a sick pervert. Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of want to make it up, and it'd be good if we could like have like pleasant time together after the kind of awkward times. And I guess I was a bit of a jerk. And
I can't imagine that. Did you have a beard?
No.
That's when you were getting all the honeys.
I thought Jewish law mandated the slaughtering of animals with a sharp blade across the neck, yet in the sanctuary the priest supposedly killed the chickens with a sharp fingernail. What's up with that?
Good question. Can I answer that?
Yes.
That's a very good question. Glad you noticed that. This is not the only case where an animal is killed by a method other than shechita. Examples are a calf that's killed as atonement for finding an unidentified body,